Hi there. Let's see if I can do this without crying. And for some of you who know me very well, you know this is something I do every year on the anniversary of my sister's death. And for those of you that are new to me, this may be the first time that you are aware of some of my story. So on the 31st of August 1997, I woke up to the phone call letting me know that my sister had passed. And that her journey, her fight with cancer was over and she was at peace. And I had turned 30, that was the year that I turned 30. It is the same day that Princess Diana died. And my sister's name was Sarah, which means princess. So, as my mum always said, more than one princess died that day. And Sarah's death has very much obviously been part of my story for the last 26 years, and also been part of my inspiration for setting up my own business, for being so passionate about health and wellness and looking after ourselves and looking at our nutrition and how we move and our mindset. But also more recently, not dealing with, constantly running away from the grief, the trauma, all of those experiences has really had an impact on me through my menopause transition, and has also changed my story around the menopause transition. But what I wanted to do today, in honour of Sarah's memory, because bearing in mind that she died 26 years ago and had been fighting and battling with her cancer for a couple of years, she managed to put herself into remission by what she was doing. You know, Sarah was the first person who talked to me about raw vegan food, about macrobiotics. I used to walk into her kitchen and she would be, cleansing all her fruit and vegetables and apple cider vinegar. She really was ahead of her time. She talked about conspiracy theory. She was very much into the healing power of wheatgrass. So, she really was a woman ahead of her times. She managed to get pregnant with her husband, which was something they were told would never happen. And she conceived and carried to full term and birthed a beautiful, beautiful baby boy, my nephew Cameron. So she was able to do many things that she was told she wouldn't be able to do by looking after herself and by, the approach that she took. She also had chemotherapy. She had all of her Western, she had, but she was one of these beautiful people that combines the allopathic with, her own sort of natural and holistic approach as well. And about 10 years ago, I can remember going to a conference and hearing this story that I'm going to share with you. And some of you have heard this maybe for 10 years in a row now, but I'm going to keep on sharing it because it truly, I can remember being sat there in the Radisson Blu at Manchester Airport with a whole load of other fitness professionals and wellbeing professionals, and having this story told to me. And in that moment, I realised what it was that Sarah had been trying to tell me. So this is medicine according to Cherokee legend. The old ones say that at one time all of creation spoke the same language. The plants could communicate with the finned ones, the four-leggeds could speak with the trees. The stones could talk with the wind, and even the most dependent, most pitiful part of creation, the two-leggeds, or as we've come to call ourselves, the humans, could also speak with the other parts of creation. All existed in harmony, the plants, the animals, and the elements of the four directions, all existence. All knew that if the two-leggeds were to survive, they would need help. The animals gave of themselves, willingly sacrificing so that the humans could have food. They knew that their skins were much better suited to survival than that of the humans, so they allowed their skins to be taken and used for clothing and shelter. The finned ones, the flyers and the crawlers also allowed themselves to be used by the humans to ensure their survival. The plant people, the standing people trees and the stone people rocks freely gave of themselves so that humans had what they needed for food, clothing and shelter. An agreement was forged that the two-leggeds would ask permission for these gifts, give thanks for the sacrifice and take no more than they needed. And so it was good. But then the two-legged started growing in numbers and began to feel themselves more important than the rest of creation. They began to believe that the web of life revolved around them, ignoring the fact that they were just one small part of the circle. The two-leggeds began to kill without asking for permission. They began to take more than they needed. They ceased to give thanks. All parts of the agreement were broken. The great animal councils banded together to determine what they should do to right these wrongs. They needed to protect themselves from destruction and eradication. And so it was decreed by the council, if one of their clan was killed by the two-leggeds and thanks was not given for the sacrifice, the chief animal spirit would afflict the disrespectful killer with a devastating disease. The plants were distressed and said to the animals, "They wrong us too. They dig us up, they trample us, they burn us out, and don't even listen when we try to tell them what we can do to help them. Yet we feel compassion for the two-leggeds. Man struggles to realise his place in the web of creation, and he cannot learn if he is wiped out by disease. Man needs our help, so for every disease you animals bring to them, we, the plant people, will give them a cure. All the two-leggeds have to do is listen when we talk to them." And so this is my invitation for you, wherever you are in your journey, in your life, is just to take a moment to get quiet and still and listen to the message that the plants may have for you. Have the most beautiful day. Thank you for being part of my community, for getting my kind of crazy, and I really look forward to connecting with you again in the very, very near future. All my love. Bye-bye.